Composition and characteristics of oceans. Besides being called the water planet, Earth is sometimes also referred to as the blue planet. And this is because if you've ever seen a picture of Earth from space, it appears mostly blue due to water covering 70% of its surface. Remember that 97% of Earth's water is salt water in the oceans. And if you were to look at a globe and identify all Earth's oceans, you would actually find that they are all connected. Scientists have separated oceans into 5 main bodies due to their location, composition, and characteristics. The largest ocean is the Pacific Ocean, and it is also the deepest. It is larger than all of Earth's combined land areas. The second largest ocean is the Atlantic, and it is only half the size of the Pacific and occupies about 20% of Earth's surface. The third largest ocean is the Indian Ocean, which lies between Africa, India, and the Indonesian islands. Now, the ocean that surrounds Antarctica is referred to as the Southern Ocean, and it is the 4th largest ocean. And because of its location, ice covers some of its surface all year round. The smallest and shallowest ocean is the Arctic Ocean in the North Pole, and its surface is covered in ice all year round. Here is an image showing you how all the oceans are connected. Billions of years ago, when rain fell to the Earth's surface, it washed over rocks and it dissolved minerals which contained salts. Rivers and streams carried these substances to ocean basins, and these substances, along with other substances and gases released by underwater volcanoes, created the salt water of today's oceans. The amount of dissolved solids in a mass of water is its salinity. Ocean water has an average salinity of 35 parts per thousand, which means that if you measured 1,000 grams of ocean water, 35 grams of it would be salts and 965 grams of it would be water. Now, scientists divide oceans into zones based on their physical characteristics, which include salinity, along with density, temperature, and the amount of sunlight it receives. The area of ocean that receives the greatest amount of sunlight is the surface zone, sometimes referred to as the sunlit zone or the epipelagic zone. This zone is located above that first dashed line shown in this figure, and most organisms that perform photosynthesis live here. The middle zone, or twilight zone, which scientists sometimes refer to as the mesopelagic zone, receives very little light, and organisms from the zone will wait until night to come up to the surface and feed. Now, the deep zone receives zero sunlight, so there are no organisms that photosynthesize here. Many organisms produce their own light using chemicals in a process called bioluminescence. The deep zone includes the dark zone along with the abyss and even the trenches. Organisms here have magnificent adaptations to hunt prey or to avoid predators. If an organism is not a predator, they usually wait for scraps of food from the above zones to filter down to the bottom in order to feed. Now, light is not the only thing that differentiates a zone. They are also differentiated by temperature, salinity, and density. Now, if you were to take temperature readings going down through the zones, you would observe a pattern that the temperature decreases as you descend. The surface zone extends from the surface to about 200 meters and has an average temperature of about 17.5 degrees Celsius. Going below that surface zone, the temperature rapidly drops to 4 degrees Celsius, while the deep zone is a constant 3.5 degrees Celsius or colder in most of the ocean. Rainfall decreases salinity near the surface of the ocean, but in areas where it's warm and dry, evaporation will increase that salinity. Now, below the surface zone, salinity remains fairly constant throughout the water column. The density of seawater depends on temperature and salinity. The ocean is generally least dense in the surface zone where it is warmest. However, higher salinity also increases density, so the most dense water is found in the cold, deep zone. Okay, it is time to show what you know.